There was once a time that I suffered and I struggled with night terrors. I call myself the night terror hero, but truthfully, it is Jesus Christ who is my hero, who saved me from the suffering of night terrors. I believe it was about 2013, and I was alone. And this night terror that happened was probably the most profound, if I can explain it in a way. For during this night terror, something happened that had never happened before in all my night terrors. So please bear with me. It was 2013, and I was laying in the bed, and I was tired. Usually I don't lay on my stomach, but I did this time. And sure enough, I felt myself falling asleep, but I also felt something familiar. The feeling of a night terror that may happen. Knowing that what it was, I felt like maybe since I was tired anyway, I could ignore it. There was something walking past my door, back and forth, as I began to get more tired and tired. I'd feel it's like a static feeling, but that comes from somewhere that you really don't know, but you can feel it on your body, maybe in your mind. And more as I got tired, I kept feeling this and hearing this thing pass by my door. And it was right whenever I fell into the sleep paralysis state that it stopped at my door. I didn't know exactly how much of a terror it was, but it began to speak. Like I said, I was tired. My plan was just to ignore it. And when it began to speak, it started talking like a child. It had a very small voice, but as I ignored it, his voice became much darker and much louder and much deeper, to the voice of more accustomed to what a demon may sound like. And the moment I felt even a twinge, a slightness of nervousness, it came into my room like a wind. It was blowing all around and it settled just over top of me. This wind. Still, I was trying to ignore it. Even when I felt its hand, one get placed around my throat, another right there on the small of my back, and another on my ankle. I can't remember which leg. As I sat there, thinking back now even, I don't believe it was speaking in English with its dark voice. But I lay there, and for the first time, I was contemplating the how long it had been, how many night terrors had been, how long I had been having them. That is when the voice kind of sounded like a familiar tone a night terror used to take whenever I was younger. The voice of Fred Krueger. And I'm not sure if they could hear what we're thinking, but I believe whenever I'm in a night terror, I'm kind of connected to whatever the terror is, and the con the the conversation back and forth, what's happening is more telepathic than verbal. So I believe it was like as if it heard my thinking whenever I familiarized this voice with the sound, with the voice of Freddy Krueger, and it kind of chuckled, but it continued. But it was mistaken because maybe it thought I was becoming more afraid. Like I said, it was the first time something happened that never happened before. Instead of being afraid, I realized that I was annoyed. It had been so long, and just making me think of Freddy again. For some reason, it seemed to me that the tactics of the night terror hadn't changed, even the slightest. In my mind, I said the tactics of Satan are still the same. That's what I thought. And then I laughed. I laughed as if I was watching something funny on TV, something that really got me. And I laughed a real high pitched laugh, a real laugh. I wasn't afraid for the first time ever in a night terror. I wasn't afraid. I was annoyed and I was laughing. I believe it got upset. It didn't expect me to laugh, I don't think. This wasn't expected at all of it because I felt its hands tighten around my Adam's apple, almost pushing it in. And like I said, I wasn't afraid, but I knew I could not come out of this alone. So I called on the Lord Jesus. I said, Jesus, help me. Jesus, help me. And from inside, not from my mouth at all, but from inside me, in my stomach, inside my soul, Jesus spoke up. He said something also in language that I've never heard before. But it wasn't that got me. It was how fast he said it. It was it was at warp speed he spoke. The words blended together, they were said so fast. And he said two sentences. And at the end of those two sentences, it felt like this terror that was above me was dragged away from me, down towards past my ankles, away. I felt it reaching for me, but it could no longer touch me. When I came to, I was smiling. And a verse from the Bible immediately came to my mind, the one that is before you now, right here in Psalms, chapter 4, verse 8. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep. For thou, Lord, only makest me dwell in safety. I remember I got up, grabbed a pen and paper, and immediately wrote it down, the date and what happened in the verse. I wrote that I laughed. It was after that I understood why I had all these night terrors, why it had been so long. And the Lord began to teach me. They became no longer night terrors, but times to overcome, times of understanding. I hope I'll be able to share more, because that's not all that happened. I really hope I'll be able to share more with you. Thank you for listening.